All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you about in terms of motivation is not in this chapter, but you might have been looking at these slides and they talk about linking performance to rewards. How do you pay people? Here we have previous slide. We talked about these different benefits. Slide before that, all these peace programs. And you're thinking, I'm not a manager. I'm barely a supervisor. I'm just a sole contributor, an individual contributor. I don't have a chance to have any say in what people make. I certainly can't give them money. That's not always you're not always as limited as you might think. So when I was a entry-level engineer, I was on a new project, and the project lead engineer was teasing me when I got on this project. He said, you're in big trouble. And I said, okay, how am I in big trouble? I've been on the project 2 days. And he said, you're in big trouble because it's going to take you 2 months to order this hardware, and for it to come in, even though the hardware is in our factory, it's going to take you 2 months to order it. And you need to have it all built in 3 months, and so you're basically dead already. I said, great. And it's great to be on a program for 2 days and be 2 months behind, if you can appreciate that. So, and I said, okay, why am I 2 months? Why is it going to take 2 months? If the company already owns the parts in production, why does it take 2 months? And he said, well, you got to go see this guy Harold. And Harold's this clerk with this huge backlog of work. And when you order stuff, you put your forms on top of his inbox, and then he pulls the form, which is like 3 inches deep full of paperwork, if not 6 inches deep, and then he pulls the form off of the bottom, and then he works on that. So you're in this huge queue, and there's no way around it. Like, okay, that's kind of a bummer. So I fill out some of the paperwork for what I need, and I go down and see this guy Harold. And sure enough, there's the inbox, and it's 5 or 6 inches deep. There's a huge pile of forms. So I introduce myself, I tell him what I'm working on, and then I'm working on this project, this new project, and does he know my project manager? Oh yeah, and yeah, he's an important guy, right? Yes, he's an important guy, so it's an important project. Yeah, and the vice president of engineering is sponsoring this project, it's a big deal. Okay, so Harold's got the idea. So then I said, Harold, I've been told you're a key part of this operation, that you have to order these parts for me. How does that work? So Harold pulls out his computer and he starts showing me how the MRP system, right, the Material Resources Planning System works. Basically, it's a online inventory system, right? Not a big deal. He punches in the parts and tell them if they're available and when they're going to use in production, all of that. So Harold showed me how it works, and I start asking him a couple questions, and he starts getting really interested. And then he tells me, here, have a seat. Let me show you a couple tricks the way it works. And he starts showing me more stuff. So I've been there 20 minutes, and he tells me, you're like the first person who's ever sat down and asked me what my job is and how this stuff works. And I said, well, Harold, you got an important job on this project because you're the guy who's got to order parts. And then he says, I know, not everybody gets that, right? So it occurs to me, Harold gets very little credit for what he does. He's a clerk entering in part numbers into a computer system. So I said, Harold, you know what? We don't have a material person on our project. We have 4 engineers, a project manager, but we don't have a materials person, and you're the guy who has to order materials. So I'm going to tell the project manager, you need to be our materials guy on our project. And he said, me? I said, yes, you're the material lead, right? You're the lead guy for us. You're the only guy, I don't mention that, but you're the lead guy for us. And Harold says, really? Yes. We have nobody else. It has to be Harold, right? So Harold gets kind of excited by this. Okay, I got some stuff to order here, and in 2 days I'll be back, order more stuff when I figure out the other stuff we need. And Harold's like, great. I said, so now, matter of fact, I'm trying to remember. I think I came back later that day with the forms all filled out. That's what it was. First day I got there, I asked him how to fill out the forms, and then he showed me. So I came back to reports, and I said, okay, Harold, I talked to our project manager. You're now the material lead guy for our project. And Harold was really excited over that. He knows the project manager. He knows the guy's very senior, and he's excited about being on the team. Truth be told, the project manager was out of the building that day at some big meeting, and I never got to talk to the guy. So yeah, I made it all up. So although, what's he going to say, right? Give him the titles are free. So anyway, so Harold's our new material lead. So when I give him a stack an inch deep of forms that need to be ordered, I said, do you want me to put these on top of your inbox? And Harold's like, oh no, those are going to go in a special pile right here. I said, okay, I'll be back in a day or two to order more stuff. Great, I'm waiting for it. So I get back there like the next day to order some more stuff, and I said, how are we doing on the original stuff? Harold's like, it's all ordered. It's going to be in 3 days. I go, are you serious? Oh yeah. Yeah, when I'm your material lead guy, I make stuff happen. I say, Harold, you're the man. and he gets this big smile on his face, and I give him more stuff to order, and he orders it. And this goes on for a couple more days while I keep bringing him stuff to order. And then one day I'm leaving Harold's desk, and these offices are out in front of his work area. I see an office door open, and there comes a big guy wearing a suit. He points at me, and he gives me the come here. He gives me the come here thing, right? So I go in his office, and he says, have a seat there, young fella. I was like 22, 23 at the time. He said, you Schindler? Yes, sir, I'm Schindler. So Harold's on your project. Oh, yeah. He says, just so you know, it's considered polite before you take a person from a man's department and put them on a project team to check with the manager. I said, oh, you're right, I apologize. I'm pleading ignorance and youth here, and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes, but Harold's very excited about being on the team. He said, yeah, I know he is. He's almost busting buttons. He's so proud. I said, well, to tell you the truth, Harold's doing a great job for us. Matter of fact, he's doing a fantastic job for us. And the guy's like, well, I'm glad to hear it. Trying to get him too excited because he's thoroughly excited to be on the project and be on a team and to have a title. I said, yeah, I got that. So this goes on for a number of months, and we build this project up. And Harold's doing a fantastic job getting this stuff. And I'm building up this prototype for the Army. I'm building stuff for the U.S. Army at this point. Anyway, we're getting close to this big demonstration for the customer, and something breaks. And I mean it breaks as in we need new parts. There's no fixing it. We got to have new parts. And we got to have them from our factory. So now I've been kind of stoking Harold along. Matter of fact, at one point I said, Harold, you're doing such a great job. We're all getting project hats. The company had sent out a thing you could buy baseball hats. That's how cheap our company was. They didn't give it to us. You had to buy them with your project money or buy them with yourself or whatever. So I said, Harold, by the way, we're all getting project hats with the company logo on it, and so I'll bring one by. And I just had to tell him something. He was doing such a good job. So I go back and I tell the project manager, hey, by the way, you're buying all 5 of us or 6 of us, whatever it was, baseball hats, those new baseball hats the company's putting out. You're going to buy them with the project funds for everybody on the project. And he looks at me, and this guy was like my dad's age. We're older, right? And he looks at me and says, all right, I'll buy the hats, but okay, did you already promise the hat to Harold? I said, yeah. I said, okay, wise guy, suppose then that I don't pay for the hats. All right, what would you do then? You already promised it to Harold. I said, I'd buy it myself. I said, it's like $8. And by Harold getting these parts in very quickly, he saved me from working many overtime hours, many weekends for free. And $8 is to be the best $8 I spent all year long to not have to work 3, 4, 5 weekends for free. My boss said, all right, at least you got some logic and you're going to own up to your promises. So we all got hats, and not a big deal. And Harold was all excited to have his, of course. And so anyway, we're coming to the final demo, and I break something. Well, we break something, and it's really broken. So I need new parts, right? So I call Harold. Harold, disaster, right? We broke something, and we got a big dog and pony show for the big guys in 2 days or whatever it was. And I need new parts, and I need them fast, right? This is the guy who looked like a beat dog, who was sitting at his desk with a 6-inch pile of inboxes, who wouldn't do much of anything for anybody, right? Now I got Harold all on the project. He's all excited. He's all motivated. I call him. I tell him, we created a problem. I need your help desperately so the project will be a success. What can you do for me? And he said, this is the guy, right, who just plodded along. He said, I'll tell you what. If you fax me back then, this is the 80s, early 80s, so no internet. If you fax me the part numbers you need, I will fax them to our factory. I have a friend there who owes me a favor. He can pull the parts out of inventory tonight. I will come in. What time are you coming in the morning? I said, I don't know, 7:30. He goes, I will get up 2 hours early. I will drive to the factory. I will pick up the parts, and I will have them on your desk when you get in. Right? Which is astounding for a person who wouldn't even take the paperwork out of order on his desk before, right? And Harold does, and he's good to his word, and the parts are on my desk, and I get them installed, and the big demo for the customer is a success, right? So, and I was really heartfelt with my appreciation for the effort this guy did and pulled our rear end out of the fire, actually. So I told our project manager, I said, look, the reason this demo was a success is because our man Harold, the guy you guys told me about, was, not the most helpful ever. And so you, project manager, are going to write him a big letter of appreciation, what a fantastic job he did on this project, and you're going to send it to his boss. And my project manager said, well, I'm really, really busy right now, so I don't have time to write the letter, but if you write the letter, I'll be more than happy to sign it. Well, again, I owed Harold big favors for helping me both not work a lot of overtime for free and for saving us here with our little disaster at the end. And so I happily wrote a glowing letter, what a good job he did, and referred to him as the lead of materials on this project, all this. And we sent it to his, and then the project manager signed it, the lead engineer signed it, we sent it to his manager, his manager's manager, and then a copy to Harold, right? Well, guys in clerk jobs like that don't get many big thank yous like that, and they sure don't get them from senior project managers and people like that. They get complaints about not being perfect and not getting things fast enough, but they don't really get thank you letters like that. So not only Harold, but his boss said, "Hey, Schindler, that was really nice what you said about Harold," because it makes him look good too, right? The boss, Harold's boss, right? And I said, well, thanks, but I want you to know I meant every word of it. He goes, well, I appreciate that. And I want to tell you, you've made him a new man. He comes into work now looking for chances to excel. I'm like, well, great. All right? I really appreciate that. I'm telling you, I'd be glad to work with Harold anytime, any place, whatever. And so the moral of the whole story is, right, here I am, a peon in the big machine. Here I am, a little grunt engineer. I literally was not allowed to buy a pencil without my boss co-signing it, right? That's how low on the totem pole I was. I couldn't spend a nickel of the company's money, right? Yet, by giving Harold a title, which was free, which I didn't even bother to get approved, we gave him a baseball hat, right? We gave him for $8, which I was willing to pay for myself. We gave him numerous pats on the back. We gave him a chance to excel. We even threw basically the outcome of the schedule of the whole project in his hands when we had this broken part and he had to get us new stuff, right? And then he saved the day for us, right? So we gave him a challenge. Remember I said stretch goals? So he had a challenge. He had he had responsibility, right? He had to not let the team down, and he came through, right? And he was proud to do all this, right? I must confess, being a smart alecky little 22-year-old, I kind of did it as a game at first to see how stoked I could get him. By the end, I was really proud of the guy. I was really proud of how well he worked, and we talked on and off again for years about what a fun project that was and what a good time we had. And he kept saying, anything you need, man, just come see me, I'll fix you up. Right? And I would tell him the same thing. So we were kind of buds after that. So the moral of the story is, don't look at this list of compensations and think, I don't get to give out raises. I certainly don't get to give out stock options. I don't even get them myself. None of this is available to me. You can offer people things like public accolades. You can send them thank you letters. You can send them thank you emails. You can tell their boss what a good job they're doing. You can tell their boss's boss what a good job they're doing, right? You can give them public acknowledgement, right? How you're proud to work with them and what a good job they've done for you. When they do something extra for you, you can make sure people know it, right? And they will respond. Not only what I learned is not only did Harold respond, but the guys sitting around him doing similar work, they're like, oh, there's that Schindler kid. The Schindler kid who sends out the big thank you memos to the boss. The Schindler kid who makes people like us look good, right? And they knew Harold's not any better than they were, so they knew if he did it, they could do it. So interesting reaction that they were looking to help me too. Not just Harold after that, but the rest of the department, because I'm the person who brings rewards, right? I can't give rewards, but by giving them thank you notes and congratulation memos and that kind of stuff, right? Their view in the company goes up, right? I create a better image for them. So interesting, look out. I must say, I wish I was smart enough to claim I did this all, I thought this all out ahead of time. I just kind of stumbled my way through it, but I've done this a couple times since then in my career, and I think it's a really, really good lesson in how you have no excuse, right? As an employee, it's my take on it. If you want to motivate somebody, you have to find out how to motivate them. Right? The fact that you can't give out raises, the fact that you can't give out bonuses and stock options is no excuse. Find something they want. Find a way to get it to them, even if it's a baseball hat. Find something, or a free thank you memo, right? Work hard at it, talk to them, listen to them, right? Figure out they want to be. Harold wanted to be part of the team. He didn't even want a title until I offered him one, and he thought that was the greatest thing ever. So it's on you, right? It's on you. Figure it out. That's my advice. And that's it for Chapter 6.